already I think we started discussing about the viscosity property of the gases. Okay, we want to derive the expression for the coefficient of viscosity. Okay, yeah, good evening. Right, now again I am going to redraw the diagram because we want the diagram today to discuss about this viscosity of gases. Yeah, it is a property exhibited by all the fluids, of course gases also, but we are sticking to the gases only for now. We are not considering liquids. Okay, liquids also exhibit viscosity. In the previous classes you tried to find the viscosity of given liquids. Even in your first sem there is one experiment to find the coefficient of viscosity. There in the laboratory we try to find the viscosity of a given liquid. Okay, you are also familiar with finding the surface tension of given liquid, okay, right from your intermediate. But here what we are doing is we are trying to derive the formula which is useful in determining the viscosity of the fluids, right? This formula we use in the laboratory to calculate the coefficient of viscosity, right? Now in the previous class we are already drawn this diagram. Okay, we are considering three layers, okay, of the gas. We are assuming that the gas is composed of so many layers. Okay, one layer is moving another layer. Okay, this is what our picture of gas flow. Right here, I already told you that in this x direction, it will show you the position or something like that. This y direction we are chosen this y direction as the direction of increasing of velocity, right? U increases, velocity increases as you go upwards, as you climb up over the layers. See, we designated this layer to be AB, this layer to be CD, this layer to be EF. Yeah, we assumed the velocity of this intermediate layer as U. Since the distance between this layer and this layer or this layer is lambda, okay, we are trying to give the velocities for upper and lower levels as u plus lambda du by dy. The velocity of the lower level is assumed to be u minus du by dy. That means difference in velocity along the y-axis, right? Now, yeah, I think we discussed about how many number of molecules are either moving up or down, right? Next, how many number of molecules are crossing per unit area per unit time? Okay, that is to be noted as n into average velocity by 6. Okay, because n by 6 molecules are moving up, all of you know that n by 6 molecules are moving down and the same n by 6 molecules are moving up. Okay, in each direction. It applies to x direction, it applies to y direction, it applies to z direction as well. So, yeah, how many number of molecules are moving either up or down, say for along y axis? Okay, that is given by n by 6 into c bar. N by 6 into c bar. If you do the dimensional analysis, you come to know that this gives you the number per unit area per unit time, that means per second. Right, now if m is the mass of each molecule, then the total mass crossing the intermediate layer either from downwards or from the upwards, up to down or down to up. That is simply given by m times of this m mass transport. This gives you m and c bar by 6. What is this? This is the mass either going up, moving up, or moving down per unit area per unit time. Okay, this is only number. This will give you number of molecules either moving up or moving down through the unit surface area per unit time. Okay, having known this, let us go to the next step of the derivation. Right, now momentum carried downwards by the molecules of the upper layer. Suppose that the molecules from CD layer are coming to the bottom layer through AB layer. How much momentum they carry? Momentum carried by momentum carried by the molecules in CD layer. Okay, molecules of upper layer, CD layer, that means CD to EF through AB. Okay, now I am erasing this diagram. You just keep it in mind. Now we are calculating the momentum transport from top to bottom, yeah, per unit area per unit time. That is given by momentum means mass into velocity. Okay, otherwise simply write in words to avoid confusion. Mass into velocity. Why? Because this is the momentum. Okay, what is the mass going per unit area per unit time? M n, just now we calculated c bar by 6. C bar is the average velocity. What is the velocity of the molecules in the top layer, CD layer? U plus lambda du by dy. Okay, remember this. Now let us concentrate on the upward motion from bottom layer to top layer through intermediate layer. Okay, that means EF layer. Momentum carried by molecules in moles in EF layer. Yeah, here also you have to calculate with the same formula, mass into velocity. Mass is m n c bar by 6 into what is the velocity of the molecules in the bottom layer, EF layer? U minus lambda du by dy. See, there is a slight change in the momentum carried downwards and momentum carried upwards. Now what is the net momentum change? Come on, tell me. Net momentum change, net momentum transferred per second per unit area. Okay, next, net momentum transfer or change in the momentum. Net momentum change or transfer is equal to higher momentum minus lower momentum. Yeah, now what you are going to get if you subtract this one from this one? First term is same. Okay, what is second term? mn c bar by 6 lambda du by dy. Okay, How much you are going to get? Come on, guess that. M n c bar by 6 into what you are going to get inside the bracket. See, first term cancel. Second term is mn c bar by 6 into lambda du by dy. So what you are having in the first momentum? Yeah. Next, minus of this second term. Already minus is there. Minus into minus plus. Again the same term. You write down all these things on a paper neatly. Okay. So what is the net momentum transfer? Net momentum change by subtracting these two momentum transfers. Yeah. This is equal to how much you are going to get? M n c bar by 6. See, same terms are there with plus sign. So 2 times of lambda du by dy. Now you try to simplify this. Cancel 6 and 2. 2 3 ja. 2 3 ja. Right. 2 3 ja 6. So now what is the net momentum change? Come on, tell me. 1 by third m n c bar into what is there? Lambda du by dy. This is what the net momentum change. But according to the Newton's second law, rate of change of momentum is equal to the force, isn't it? You recall Newton's second law. Therefore, whatever you derived is nothing but the force. Okay, particularly this is a tangential force, mn c bar. This is c bar lambda du by dy. So you got the expression for force. Now you can easily calculate the coefficient of viscosity. Why? Because you know the general formula for the coefficient of viscosity. What is that? Eta is equal to tangential force by velocity gradient. That means du by dy. See, now you divide this f with du by dy in order to get eta. So what is eta? Come on, tell me by comparing this formula or substituting f value here. See, this du by dy and this du by dy will be cancelled. So eta is equal to, simply you are going to get mn c bar lambda. So what is the formula for eta? Mn 1/3 mn c bar lambda. See, this is the basic equation. You may write in so many different forms, right? Why? Because if you multiply these two things, m into n, here this is a mass into some number by volume. What is mass by volume? Density. That's why you may also write this as, in the place of mn, I am writing density rho. Okay, rho c bar lambda. So you may also express the expression for coefficient of viscosity as 1/3 rho c bar lambda. What is rho here? Rho is the density of the gas. What is c bar? Average velocity of the gas molecules. What is lambda? Mean free path. Okay. Now, if you write the expression for lambda here, exact expression for lambda is 1 by pi n d square or root 2 pi n d square. You substitute this here, then what you are going to get? Come on, tell me. Put in the place of lambda root 2 pi n d square. Okay, so you are going to get 3 root 2 in the denominator. Yeah, pi is also there. Yeah, but in the mn is there na. Otherwise you see this expression, see n will be cancelled, so you are simply left out with mc bar. mc bar, you see this expression here, you substitute your lambda value, but you are going to get in the denominator you are going to have d square as well, this d square. So what is the final expression for eta? mc bar by 3 root 2 pi d square. Okay, now let us try to find the dependency of n eta on other factors. See, is there any n in this formula final expression? No. So coefficient of viscosity is independent of the number of molecules per unit volume. Okay, density, right? It is independent of the density, number density. Why? Because n is not there in this formula, that you have to remember. It is not the number factor. Viscosity is the number factor. You have to remember that. Whether the molecules are more crowded or not crowded, it is not matters here. Next, you see that C bar is there in the eta formula. So coefficient of viscosity depends upon the average velocity of the molecules. Again, average velocity is proportional to root T if you use the formula of C bar. So coefficient of viscosity also proportional to root of temperature. Root of temperature. What is the meaning of that? As you increase the temperature of the gas, coefficient of viscosity also changes. Why? Why? Because the kinetic energy of the molecules increases. So net momentum transfer also increases. That is what the reason for the increase of eta. You should be able to tell like this, right? I think you understood this. Next, one more thing. Yeah, next one more thing. Eta is depending on d square as well. That means eta is inversely proportional to 1 by d square. You see, eta is depending on temperature, eta is depending on this d. What is this d? Diameter, size of the molecule. If you are having the molecules of very big size, then what is going to happen? Viscosity of the gas is going to decrease. Why? Because the number of layers decreases. Okay. Why? Because size of the molecule in each layer is very big. So if you are considering one cubic box inside the gas, then the number of layers decreases. Okay, that's why this eta value decreases in the squared manner, d square manner. As you increase d, that means if you pick up the molecules of large size, then the viscosity property of the gas decreases. This is what the meaning of this expression. Actually, as a physics student, you should be able to know these things. See, there are all these things in this formula. You should be able to decipher these things from this derived formula. Otherwise, deriving this expression is waste. Okay, you have to catch the physical content of the any expression. Now, I am going to discuss about next transport property, thermal conductivity. Right, with this unit may be completed. Next transport property of gas is thermal conductivity. Yeah, thermal conductivity of a gas. Thermal conductivity. Now again you have to take the same diagram. Okay, here instead of velocity you have to take the temperature along the y-axis. What is the temperature increasing direction? Again your layers are intact, all the layers with the same names are existing here. Intermediate layer, upper layer. This is y-axis. You know that in this direction what is increasing now? Temperature. Instead of velocity, temperature is increasing. See, again these layers are separated with the distance equal to mean free path. Okay. If you take the temperature of this intermediate layer as T, now you are going to have the temperature of the upper layer as T plus lambda temperature gradient here, not the velocity gradient. Okay. Now what is the temperature of the lower layer? T minus lambda dt by dy. Okay, in the place of t in the previous expression you had velocity u. Okay, what we are changing here, instead of u I am writing t. That is what the difference you have. This you have to note. Yeah, here what is happening? Higher the molecules, the upper layer in the at the higher temperature. Okay, the lower layer, that means bottom layer, is having low temperature. See, the molecules from lower level are going to upper level, and the molecules from upper layer are coming to lower level. Okay, so what exchange is taking place here? Temperature exchange is taking place. This is what the conductivity, na? You know that. Now again all things will be the same. How much mass is going either up or down? All of you know that is equal to per unit area per time. Mass per unit area, mass per unit area per unit time. Unit time is equal to m n c bar by 6. Just now we used this. This is what the mass going either up or down along any one axis per unit area per unit time. Now heat is coming from upper layer to lower layer. Okay, see, upward heat transfer, downward heat transfer from CD layer is given by, okay, now I am erasing this diagram. See, heat from CD layer is coming downwards, heat from EF layer is going upwards. By using these two flows we are going to find the net heat transfer. Okay, heat transfer from upper layer. Now first thing I want to calculate heat transfer from upper layer. Heat what happened here? Okay, heat transfer from upper layer. What is the velocity of upper? What is the temperature? You have to note this temperature. T plus lambda dt by dy. Heat from upper layer heat transfer from the upper layer is equal to, what is the formula for heat actually? Q is equal to MST or MCT. C is the specific heat. I am writing the formula for heat, mass times specific heat. It is not the standard notation, but I am using SH for specific heat, next into temperature. What formula it is? It is MST formula. Q is equal to MST or MCT. Okay, now what is the mass? This is the mass, mnc bar by 6 into specific heat. Let us denote this with CV, specific heat at constant volume, into temperature. Upper layer na T plus lambda dt by dy. Next you consider the heat transfer from lower layer heat from lower layer. Yeah, this can be calculated with the same formula. Mass is same, mn c bar by 6. Next, specific heat is same, and next temperature is different here. What is that? T minus lower layer, na? It will be having lower temperature. T minus dou T by dou Y. Now, how do you get the net heat transfer? Net heat transfer. Net heat transfer is equal to this thing minus this thing. Okay, first terms are same. You see here from this formula and from this formula. First terms are same, so first terms will be cancelled. Next, second terms will be intact. See what is common? Mn c bar cv by 6 into this term, second term. What is that? Lambda dt by dy, na? Okay, plus or minus? Yeah, this thing minus of this minus lambda dt by dy. Minus of minus means plus, plus again same term due to the second momentum transfer. This thing minus of minus plus here. So what you are going to get finally? Come on, tell me. Net heat transfer. Net heat transfer. Net heat transfer is equal to how much you are getting? This term plus same term, 2 times of mn c bar cv by 6 into what is this? Same terms are there twice, so it is 2 lambda dt by dy. 2 3 ja 6. So how much you are going to get here? This is net heat transfer, mn c bar cv by 3, or you just write 1 by 3 into lambda dt by dy. What is this? This is the net heat transfer. But actually what do you want to find here? Which constant describe the thermal conduction? Coefficient of thermal conductivity. That is given by, what is the general formula for coefficient of thermal conductivity? K, heat by temperature gradient dt by dy. Now you have the net heat transfer Q. You have Q, right? What is this net heat transfer? This is nothing but Q. So substitute this in the place of Q. This thing, what you are going to get? Only dt by dy will be cancelled. So you get 1 by 3 mn c bar cv lambda only. Why? Because this thing and this thing are cancelled. So what is the expression for coefficient of thermal conductivity? That is equal to mn c bar cv lambda. Cv lambda, right? This is what the expression for the thermal conductivity, okay, of the given gas. Thermal conductivity of the given gas. See, as we wrote earlier, in the place of mn you may simply write rho. In the place of mn you may simply write a rho here, rho c, okay, rho c bar cv lambda. Okay, Yeah, this is the expression for the thermal conductivity of the gas. All of you know that thermal conductivity depends upon Cv. Here you see on what factors this K is depending, coefficient of thermal conductivity of the gas. It depends upon density. You see here K is proportional to rho. Okay. Yeah, next K is proportional to C bar. It is proportional to average velocity. As the average velocity increases, thermal conductivity also increases. Why? Because temperature increases. Okay. Next, it is also proportional to the specific heat. It is also proportional to the specific heat. It is also proportional to the mean free path. Mean free path. Okay. Right. That means mean free path means again your K is proportional to, if you substitute for this, if you substitute for lambda, then what happens? You just try to find it. You just try to find the final expression. You substitute lambda is equal to 1 by root 2 pi d square, and you substitute it, then what happens to your K? Yeah, you are going to get 3 root 2 pi, okay, d square. N is there in the denominator. Here you have mn as before, so you just keep m C bar Cv. Okay, this is what the final expression K. Coefficient of thermal conductivity is equal to m C bar Cv by 3 root 2 pi d square. That means your K is directly proportional to the average velocity C bar. Your K is inversely proportional to d square as before. Okay, if the size of the gas molecules increases, then what happens? Thermal conductivity decreases due to their heavy size. Okay, so the coefficient of thermal conductivity decreases. They can't move as fast as possible. Okay, right. Here the thermal conductivity also, yeah, decreases as you increase the size of the molecules. Okay, right. This is what the expression for the coefficient of thermal conductivity, describing the thermal conductivity property of the gas. Right. These are all the transport properties. With this, we are going to complete this unit 1.